Whoa, guys.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Gotta dust off these podcast mics.
There's cobwebs everywhere, folks. The return of the king. Not just Lord of the Rings this time. It's us, the Sons of Vidya.
Guys.
I'm Tom C.
I'm D. Marks. You know it's our official tube cast.
What?
I guess.
It is, folks.
Because it's not going out on anything else.
Yep.
Because we canceled that.
Well, we didn't yet, but we meant to. So, guys, this is your last chance to go download all the podcasts. Because I've forgotten to delete it. So just enjoy that.
Well, I suggest you get on that.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, it'll be going soon, so get them while they're there.
Episode 155, I think this is.
Pretty good. Who even knows?
Who even knows, folks? But why'd we come back to do an episode?
I don't know. It seems weird.
Oh, sorry, 163 this will be. Sorry.
I'm looking at the date on my calendar.
Let's make sure we have the same date.
Okay.
I have one of these inaccurate iPhones.
Yeah, that's fair.
What day is it?
I'm looking at Sunstember, whenever. Is that correct?
I think I have a broken phone.
Oh, all right.
But that's okay. I'll go to the store, the Apple Samsung store.
Yeah, that's a good idea. No, guys, the end of the year, you know it, we know it, and no year, no matter how shitty it might have been, would be complete without the brand new for 2016 official Sons of Vidya top 5 of the year mega countdown.
Holy crap, guys! We have done it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, probably.
Probably, folks.
It might have even been 4. Who knows?
This year is nothing different.
Nope.
We're all excited, guys. It feels good to be back in the driver's seat, though we will not be doing an episode after this.
Probably not until 2017.
But this is important, folks. We have not gotten an opportunity to sit down and talk about video games with you, our beautiful audience, for a very long time.
Yep, not one that was in front of our LA Noir or Deadly Dice. So it's nice to just kind of take a little bit of a breather and just really sit down. Guys, you bet we're in Sunsnecticut in our 12-story cabin. The fires are roaring.
Made of proud redwoods.
Yeah, proud redwoods.
The tallest trees we could find.
Yep.
Full logs.
It's just beautiful here. The snow's falling thanks to our weather manipulation machine that you cannot have. And it's the most wintry time of year, and that, of course, brings to mind year-end video game reviews. Bet it does.
The snow reminds us all of death.
It's true.
The end of a year.
The end of cycles, as they all are.
It's true. There's no more video games left for 2016. Let's face it. What are the games coming out this year? Nothing.
Spring submits to summer. Summer bows to fall. Autumn leaves lay down and die at the winter's beck and call.
It's 100% true.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been in the song if it wasn't.
Wouldn't have been in the song if it wasn't, folks.
Nope.
So, guys, if you're thinking about turning off the podcast, don't do it, because this is going to be our most action-packed episode yet.
This is going to be I think this is going to be chock full of extra meat. Because
oh my God, it's just pure meat.
Here's the thing. We got a lot of ingredients in the storeroom that are going to go bad, so we got to all put them all in here.
Dude, this is my favorite kind of sandwich, if we're going with the meat analogy.
We're full on Dagwooding here.
Because right now, this is bread, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
This is your bread.
It's like a piece of, it's like a stick, maybe.
It's like that party toast that you see. Those comic pieces of bread.
It's like actually a cracker.
Yeah.
And then the meat, that's like, I'm talking full on animal. Undigested, just raw comedy, raw content. We're not even putting it in the grinder.
Here's my thing that I did do for 2016, which you may not have noticed. All the food I ate has been undigested.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I stapled 2 crackers to 2 sides of a pig. I'll let you figure out which side it was.
I'm disappointed I didn't get more laughs for it. We're going full Dagwood here.
No, I'm sure this whole thing I was doing was a waste of time because everyone's been laughing the whole time.
That got the point across, I feel like, pretty succinctly.
I don't know. I like the crackers on a pig. I think it's good. I think it'd be fun for the pig, too. I think they wouldn't care about being stapled.
Here's my counterpoint to what you were saying. Crackers would be a great name for a pig.
Guys, it's been too long. You've missed out on stuff like this. I know everyone at home's crying still.
It's true.
They're like, where have they been?
This was among the biggest tragedies of 2016.
It's true.
Among the death of David Bowie and Fidel Castro was that the Sun stopped doing the podcast.
Do you want to start this podcast with your who did it suck the most that they died this year list?
We could.
Who's your number one?
I'm still going with David Bowie.
I don't remember any of the people who died.
Okay. You had David Bowie. Prince died this year. Gene Wilder.
Oh, Muhammad Ali. Sorry.
Okay, I was about to say. Gene Wilder died this year. Muhammad Ali died this year. Fidel Castro just died. John Glenn literally just died.
Oh, yeah, he totally died.
Ton of people just died.
Well, folks, we haven't died yet.
No, it's true.
Still have time, though.
Dude,
So-
you know, so David Bowie died this year, and 2 days before he died, on his 69th birthday, he released his last album called Black Star, and there's double meaning, because Black Star is the phase between when a star dies and when it goes supernova and like explodes, and it's also the name of like X-ray spots that you see on people with liver cancer,
Jeez.
which is what David Bowie had.
Boy, he really thought this went through.
Yeah.
Should we keep him waiting, or should we get right into it?
No, I think we have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk
I
about,
think
folks.
it's good that we get into it.
So it's time to start.
preface rule.
What?
Preface rule.
Okay.
I mentioned this to you earlier, but I'm going to mention it to the audience. If both of us have a game on our list, say Tom C mentions game X at number 5.
I did love
and
X.
I have it later on my list. I will say I also have it on my list, and we're not going to discuss it right away.
I don't think this is going to happen too much, but
No, I don't think so either. But I think we have. I honestly think we only have one game in common on our list.
I believe
this
so
year.
too.
And I know exactly which ones they are.
Right.
But they're going to have to find out.
Yeah, I'm ready. Who do you want to start?
I think I'd say we start strong with the Tom C's number 5.
I think we always do that.
I know. That's why I think we should keep doing it.
Okay, great. Folks, so I went over I'm just trying to remember what I played this year. It's looking like I have like 10 or so games that I really got down and dirty with. I'm not talking about your non-starters, folks. The ones you just start up, you look around, you play with it a little bit, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Does not count as a game that I played, folks. Talking about things I beat, things I invested time into.
Yeah.
This
You not even necessarily beat, but did invest time
lots
into.
of time
Yeah.
into, yeah. Because I've had a few years where even the game of the year was not beaten. But folks, I got a couple different consoles this year. I got a PS4, I got a Wii U, I got a whatever it's called, 3DS. So there's a lot of new things here, a lot on there. But that doesn't matter, folks, because my number 5, I'm going to get groans across the board for this. I'm starting off with a mobile game. That's right, I did this last year too. There's a mobile game way high on the list. It's low on the list this time. It's just been my daily grinder. Leaving it on, getting stuff, fun to play. That game is Dragon Blaze.
Dragon Blaze.
I talk about it too
number
much
5.
to people who don't care. It's just a game. You build a party. The party goes and does stuff. It's whatever. It's a grind fest. You know I love grind fest, but it has this gorgeous art. It's Korean made, so it's got that like nice Korean artwork. It was really a big ripoff of Dragon's Crown, like the art style, which I love. I didn't need to be convinced, but I really just like that about it.
I doubt that the ladies are as boobiful as they are.
You would be wrong.
Interesting.
That is why I'm there, folks. The women are attractive. The guy characters are sweet looking.
But are they as boobiful?
They are. Every character has so many boob shakes, and like the boob physics are real.
Okay, that's fair.
But
that's very fair.
Artwork's terrific. The game is very, very addicting, as it should be as a mobile game. There's a lot of grinding to do. I think the balance isn't perfect, but there's enough content there to keep me playing for over a year. But I really did play it this year. So it's not really over a year. But that's my first one. I don't think it's a perfect game. I just think it's fun.
I swear last year you had your number 1 spot was a mobile game.
You might be saying it was Brave Frontier.
I
think it was either 2 or it was 1.
It was high up. It was high up for sure.
I still play that, but not as much as this.
It was high up for sure. And I'm not judging you. I'm simply observing.
Yeah, no.
That's the shifting trends in video games of how even Sons of Vidya top 5 lists can contain mobile games.
It's true. I've been thinking about maybe doing a little bit of a mobile game like roundup for the channel.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's not a bad idea, just to give kind of people an idea of what I'm doing. Because I always get to like the late meta game in these things because I get too addicted. But yeah, it's whatever. Not much to say about that. There's not much to say.
Cool.
So what's your number 5, Bimbo?
So here's the deal, guys.
Sorry about that. I shouldn't have called
I
you
went
Bimbo.
over my list of games I played this year, and luckily for me, I only ever really play 5 new games per year.
I feel like you shouldn't mention that.
Well, here's really the reason is that
only
so
play
much
the
of
best
my free time was dominated by numbers 1 and 2 that I didn't really have time for other games.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, because I put a lot of time into those 2. But my number 5, and this might be a surprise, to those at home,
I'm
especially Tom C over here.
I'm at home.
Number 5, and I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty here. My number 5 is Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
Whoa.
Pretty low down the list, and you're going to be surprised what comes before it.
I will be surprised at what comes before its bit.
Because those of you who are regulars on the channel know I love Deus Ex: Human Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
That game kicks ass. It's awesome. It's got great atmosphere, great story, likable or at least believable characters that fill out a very rich game world. The gameplay is pretty good. Like combat's the only shaky leg of that story.
Yeah.
Everything else is awesome and great.
And we all know you were super hyped up about the sequel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When they did the teaser trailer and when they did the gameplay videos from E3 last year,
You were fully in the zone.
yeah, I was like, this looks awesome. They had all these new powers and shit and like all these experimental dings.
Dings.
I played it and I felt it was okay. It did improve on some aspects. Combat was better. The inventory system I think was done a little better. The weapon customization was there. Not super necessary compared to what it was in the last game, but they took away a lot of stuff. The game felt very short. You only really had a couple of different big set pieces. Like in the first game, you went to 3 different locations because you went to Detroit, you went to China, and you went to Toronto or Ontario. I don't remember where Picus was. I think it was Toronto. And then you went to the Panachea. So you went to a couple different places and you like bounced around the map and like there are different set pieces and each of them had like an importance of thing. This game is not as good because you only are in one place. You're only ever in Prague. You go to Switzerland for like half a second and then I think you at the end of the game you like fly to New York to like stop the a terrorist attack on a party. But that's it. And it's there are different like stations that you can go to and like go to different parts of Prague, but it's all I think that's a detriment that it's not you don't get to like James Bond style globetrot. I think
And certainly the setting was like 90% of why that game was so sweet.
Yeah, I think an important part of it is that like you're fighting, especially in this game where like you're fighting against the Illuminati, against this worldwide conspiracy. You'd think that you would go somewhere other than Prague. You think that they're probably doing shit elsewhere.
Nope. That's the place.
Start the game in Dubai. I did forget about that.
So there's a little bit of it.
There's a little bit, but not. But the meat and potatoes of the game takes place in Prague.
Right.
Story is interesting because it's definitely an X-Man kind of deal where you have Adam Jensen kind of represents the Professor X like good mutants who wants to exist within society, and then the bad guy who I kind of felt maybe was a little weaker than like the Tyrants and Barrett and stuff like that in the other game. He definitely represents the Magneto of like you understand his motivation because he definitely was persecuted for what he is. So it's natural that he would have a violent reaction against those he felt perpetrated that violence against him.
Right.
And then you have the third party kind of how what X-Men has where it's like the legislators who are against the X-Men in general and like want to keep mutants down.
Yeah.
So they have different approaches to how these the Augs, as they're called, these augmented humans approach the non-augmented humanity. So there's some interesting stuff kind of there because they talk about how, depending on what route you go through, the Victor guy, who's the bad guy, he talks about how Adam really isn't that much different than he is because he still kills people,
Loves to kill people.
to advance his goals and stuff like that. So there's some interest there, but literally when what I didn't realize was the last level of the game, we were walking around and one of my hacker lady friend, she was all like, Adam, we figured out where we're getting this one transmission from. It's from a computer in Hong Kong. So I was like, okay, cool. After we're done with this mission, we're going to go to Hong Kong and track this down. And then the final boss was there, and then it was like, and Adam Jensen will return in the next game. And you're like, but we're going to Hong Kong. We're going there.
We're going there.
I just got a call. We're going on a date in Hong Kong.
Ring, ring.
It felt really like... I can't even say it's the Mass Effect 2 because Mass Effect 2 was at least like all the changes that they made were fun and the characters were fun. And you don't really get that as much in this game, but it really just feels like a stopgap between... It should have just been a duology of Deus Ex game. Because they announced that it was going to be a trilogy with Adam Jensen. It could have been a duology just fine. His story could have ended this game, That you didn't really have to have this middle filler saga. You know, it was just filler. The whole game just felt like filler.
So you're saying greed ruins everything?
It does not ruin everything.
Okay. I don't know why you can't just give it to me.
And also, don't play Breach. It's not necessary.
What's Breach?
It's like a side thing. It's dumb. It's really dumb.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, so that's my number 5.
But it's pretty high for how much complaints you just had.
Well, it's the lowest of all the new games I've played.
Right, that's sad.
So yeah, it's whatever. Hopefully the next one will be good.
Yeah.
Oh, also a lot of the new AUGs you get are useless. I didn't use them a lot at all.
Really?
Yeah, there was a couple that are maybe good. Like the remote hacking's okay, but you can't even remote hack like keypads. You can only remote hack certain things, which is dumb.
That does sound dumb.
That's my number 5, guys. Is Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
Yay!
Tom C. I've got a question for you.
What's that?
What's your number 4
Whoa!
of the year?
I did not see that one coming, folks.
I know. I'm a regular interviewer.
Great. So I don't know if this game came out this year. I think it did. But either way, I played it the most this year. That's the short version of it. Unless it was on last year's list, in which case I apologize. I don't think it was. But I have on here Dark Souls 3.
Interesting.
Did that come out last year? Mm-hmm. I don't think it did. I'm pretty sure it came out this year.
Why would I know that?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I played it this year more than ever.
Well, because you didn't have a PS4 last year.
I didn't play it for PS4.
Oh, well.
Anyway, whatever. Regardless, guys, Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls is back.
I can't. I was actually going to put this a lot lower. It was going to be number 5, and then I didn't want to put a mobile game above a Souls game. That would have disgusted me. I couldn't do it. But this is, I don't want to say it. It might be the worst Souls game I've played so far. I think that's probably true.
Is Demon's Souls still your favorite?
No. I can't go into that information at this point.
Okay.
Because I trust me, it's going to come up later. But Dark Souls 3 is a passable game combat-wise. Story, it has cool settings. Like,
oh, that's right, because you played that this year.
Shut up! Like all the Souls games, you're like, this is neat. I like looking at this. I like fighting these enemies. But there's a magic with Dark Souls 1, which I've gone over many times. That game is a tight game, super tight. It is made by someone or a group of someones, a very small group of someones, who are smart, and they were completely in the zone and focused. Dark Souls 2 lost that. Dark Souls 3 lost it. There's fun bosses. There's neat stuff. But, like, it's way too everywhere. It's too loose. It's too darn loose. You got, like, cool bosses. You're running around having a great time. But in one, you'd run around having a great time, and then it turns out you're over here. And, like, the story is there. But this one, they're like, you're through, like, a million different dimensions, but, like, you're technically at the same place you were in one, and they reuse some assets from one. And they're like, yep, this guy's related to this guy, but don't worry about it. Basically, 3 is supposed to be 1 and 2 combined in the future, kind of.
Weird.
Because you go to Anor Londo, which is sweet, spoilers, and you're like, hey, that's cool, and you fight some guy who, like, he's like a god eater who killed a bunch of the gods there, and it's sweet. But you're like, is this necessary? Because the idea is you're supposed to be, like, gathering stuff again to go do some stuff, but you're like, who even cares about this? In 1, you were like, all right, I get the idea of this. We got to light this fire again. Boom, let's go. Or do I? In 3, you're like, I know I got to kill some guys. I guess it's okay.
Let's murder him.
Yeah, 2 is kind of like that, too. It's a similar problem. 2, you're like, giants are bad. Let's figure this crap out. But in 3, you're just like, I know I got to do something.
Get to the bottom of this mystery.
Yeah. 3 is just like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's a bunch of weird stuff. And I thought as I progressed further in the game, I would figure out why. Further in the game, haven't figured out why. I'm very close to the last boss in it. I repicked it up recently. Pretty good.
Would you say that would you say that a big reason that kind of shows that's not as great as a game is your disinterest in it? Because I remember you put it on hold for a while.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that.
So here's the deal. Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne and Demon Souls, they all have a thing where you basically meter your success in boss fights. Like, if you start the game and in your play session you beat one boss, you had a good day. You had a good day, you can put it down for the day. In this game, I'll just rip through 5 bosses. They don't matter at all, and I don't remember anything about them, and it's whatever. So I got to a point where I got to a boss, Pontiff Sullivan, who was too hard. And it's not fun hard. That's the problem. There are good boss fights in 1 that are thought out. They're smartly designed. You're like, sweet, feels good to do it. In Dark Souls 3, you get to someone like Pontiff Sullivan, who's just really hard. He's just a guy. It's a big, wide setting with nothing interesting about it. It's the inside of a church. And he's just fast, hits really hard, and that's it. Except then in the middle of the fight, he makes 2 of himself. And you're like, this is stupid. It's like taking all the worst aspects of every boss in that game. You're taking like Ornstein and Smo style, there's too many guys. And you're taking the like random bosses that are just too strong and they're just too hard to hit. Can't parry him, can't do anything. It's just a dumb boss fight. But then I beat him and then I killed like 17 bosses. So the problem is it's not consistent with that. It's not well designed boss-wise. And bosses are the whole key of that game. It's the only thing fun about the game. Not true. But it's a big reason the game is fun. But I just was able to put it down and not care about it for a while. That's a sure sign that it's not that great of a game. However, I did do that with 1.
Yeah.
But that was because I was bad at it. Once I became good at it, that never happened again. But anyway, would I recommend it? Yes, because I think Souls games are great and better than most games.
Yeah, I think that's an important distinction to make.
However, this one was not good enough.
That's unfortunate. Also, I just remembered that both of our number 1s last year were Hotline Miami. So it couldn't have been a mobile game.
That was last year?
Yeah, that was just last year.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, Hotline Miami was the best game. It absolutely was last year.
Yeah, that game rules.
Because,
it's still awesome.
Yeah, still great. Still a great soundtrack. If I played that game this year, you know what? Would have been the game of the year.
Still might have been high.
All right, well, that's number 4. Nah, but
No, it's good. It's good.
Do you have time for your number 4? I think you do.
I don't know. I'm gonna get in on this one, but what? Who cares? I got a lot of stuff I got to talk about, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got a lot of stuff pent up, especially about this game.
I want to. Oh, do you want? Maybe we should do it in the second half.
We're not doing. I think we're gonna jump it up into cubes.
We
might do a double break here.
Let's just go for it. You're right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a double break on this episode because I feel like it's gonna be a longer one.
Okay. Yeah.
So here it is, guys. So this year, I was right. This year had a lot of games coming out that I knew I was very interested in. Deus Ex was one of them. A bunch of other games that may be on this list later are also on there. And this was one of those games, guys. Number 4, don't get confused in a moment. My number 4 game is Mafia 3. Which might surprise some people in the room.
It doesn't really surprise me.
Well, it might surprise you that it's higher than Deus Ex.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
I think you played this one more. Because I remember you just beat Deus Ex and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah. I actually think I did it twice, and then I said I was done.
Yeah.
Okay, so where to begin on Mafia 3? Once upon a time, there was a little game called Mafia 2, and I really liked it. And I told Tom that he should play it, and we played it on the channel. We both had a great time.
Great time.
Not a perfect game, but it certainly had charm. It's one of our just for fun games that we really enjoyed doing on the show. Those come up every once in a while. So when we heard that Mafia 3 was coming out, we were both very excited because we liked that series.
Also, it was a cool concept.
Well, we didn't even know the concept at the time. We just knew that the new one was coming out, and then the concept was revealed that was like a blaxploitation kind of like weird take, late '60s New Orleans thing where you're playing as this black veteran from Vietnam who's like getting revenge on the mob. So you're like, okay, I'm way on board for that.
Okay.
All right. And then, so it comes out in August. Yeah, it comes out in August.
Did we write our list down somewhere? How do you know what we wrote?
What?
How do you know that it was Hotline Miami last year?
I just remembered.
Okay, great.
Because we did our Hotline Miami last year.
Oh, yeah, true.
So Mafia 3 comes out. I buy it, of course, and then I play it, of course.
Of course.
Of course. And it has problems, for sure. But I have to give it to it because there's a lot about this game that I really like. I really like the story. It's a really cool original concept with the whole like blaxploitation, revenge thing, and you have characters that I really like in it. But the biggest downfall of the game, not even that the AI is terrible, which is hilarious and really, it's not a difficult game at all. That's the long and short of it, is that the AI is not very good, and B, you always do the exact same thing for every single mission, except for like the boss missions, quote unquote.
Right.
So it has kind of the same pitfalls that Phantom Pain does, except it doesn't do it as well as Phantom Pain did it.
Right.
Because Phantom Pain, pretty much every mission that you had was like, attack the outpost, Snake, and you're like, all right, I'm just going to dart everyone and then kidnap them. And Miller's like, okay, great job. And whereas in this game, they're like, all right, Clayton, you got to go hunt down these mob dudes. And you're like, okay, I'm going to incapacitate everybody and then tell this dude that he's working for me. And then your guy's like, yeah, okay, great job, Clayton. So it's exactly the same thing for every single mission, except for the pretty sweet like boss battle set piece things that are really cool and stand out and you wish was more of them. Here's just a run through of some of the sweet shit that you got to do. You chase down a racist mobster in an abandoned Baron Samedi themed amusement park that's been flooded.
Into it.
You blow up some rich asshole's boat and then kill him while he's having a dinner party.
Into it.
Let's see what else. You go on a sweet car chase with Vito Scaletta, who's hanging out the side of his car, machine gunning dudes while you're chasing some guy down, stealing your car back, and then also killing a guy.
Into it.
Like, you have all these cool things that are like bookending these like just samey, boring things that just are the same things over and over again and really do not increase in difficulty because you have what would be Solid Snake's wet dream, like the ultimate single enemy lore, where Clayton, the guy you're playing as, just whistles and only one enemy always comes to investigate.
Yeah.
And if you're like hiding behind a corner and some dude comes around, if you do the like takedown move and like go around the corner and grab them, even if there's guys staring at you, you're still considered to be in stealth. So like it's super easy. It never gets really difficult, and it's that for every single mission. You just lure guys constantly to their death because there's no penalty for killing people in this game. Oh, how there's no penalty for killing people.
There's not really in Phantom Pain either.
No, it's true. But, well, you get bad karma in Phantom Pain.
Which does what?
It makes your horn grow and it makes you all bloody.
Okay.
I think it makes your stress go down or something. I don't know. Regardless, in this game, it's literally no thing. You're just like, oh, these are just a bunch of racist assholes. Of course I'm going to stab them all to death with my knife.
Would love to kill
Or
them.
use my extremely, extremely, extremely accurate Silence 22 pistol, which is almost the only gun you ever need in that game. It isn't, and so that's the biggest downfall of that game. You have cool things where you kind of decide which of your underbosses you give territory to, and the more you favor them, the more like the more their ability to help you goes up. So if you go to the Haitian lady Cassandra and you're like, all right, you get this neighborhood and this neighborhood, if you favor her a lot, then your access to the gunsmith gets better. So like he gives you better upgrades that you can purchase. Mm-hmm. If you go to Vito Scaletta, who's in this game, you're like, all right, Vito, you get all these neighborhoods, and he's like, okay, well now the hit squad that you can call in is going to be stronger and like will be better armed. So it's cool because you can like make decisions. Do I go even? Do I favor this one guy and then potentially have one of my underbosses turn against me? And then at the end of the game, you decide, like, am I going to take over this mafia business, or am I going to turn away? Am I going to rule it with my underbosses? Am I going to kill all of them? So there's a lot of stuff to like in this game. Mm-hmm. But you just have to wade through so much boring shit to get there that, like, it's really too bad.
I never even played it.
Yeah.
You've discussed before that we should play it on the show, which I get, just to kind of, we could go like critique it a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's worth playing, for sure. I think like I said, there's a lot of originality there, which I like. Mm-hmm. It's cool. Like you get to break up a clan meeting, or they don't call it the clan, but you basically
Are
get
they
to
worried about making the clan mad?
They might sue. Who knows?
Heck with
you
them.
break up a cross burning ceremony, you like shoot all the racists that are there and stuff like that. And then for no reason at the very end of the game, I guess this is spoiler alerts, but I think it's so funny that I can't not say it. Throughout the game are scattered through these like interviews, because like it's supposed to be like a documentary about this guy. And so scattered through there are interviews with certain people about him, and then there's your CIA friend who's been helping you throughout the whole game, testifying before a Senate committee about all the actions that your character takes. And during the mid-credits scene is the last one with him, and they're talking about all this shit, and then he just suddenly, just completely out of left field, not ever mentioned at all, he mentions how he went through the big bad guy's files after Lincoln Clay killed him, and he found out that he was related to the JFK assassination, and basically he's been like ever since JFK was assassinated, he was obsessed with bringing those people to justice. So he found all these files in this mobster guy about people who were related to the JFK assassination, and the one lead senator guy's like, "Sit down, Mr. Donovan, you're creating a disruption, blah blah blah." And then he fucking pulls out a gun and he's like, "You would say that, you motherfucker, because your name was all over those papers." And then he fucking shoots him and he runs out of the thing.
What?
And they're like, "This is awesome. Where has this been this whole game?"
What is it even talking about?
We should watch it after we take a break, because it's hilarious to me.
That's like I guess it's supposed to be campy.
Yeah, it definitely is. But like, it's just so weird. I'm like, where's that as a game? I want John Donovan's fucking one-man crusade against the Kennedy assassination.
By the way, a Ray Donovan game, that would be crazy.
Yeah, his name is John Donovan. I always call him Ray Donovan because I can't not.
It's a very sexy TV show.
So that's my number 4, guys. That's my big spiel about Mafia 3. I could probably talk about it for another hour more.
I know
if
you
really
could.
wanted to.
I know you could.
But that's the long and short of it. It's number 4. I think it's worth playing, but like, I totally get if people drop out. I totally get if it's not for everybody. You'd probably like it because it's all grindy and shit.
Yeah, I probably would love it.
All right, guys. I think we're going to take a break.
Yep.
We're going to catch you on the flip side.
See ya. We're back, folks.
Oh,
What a treat it is to be back in the saddle again. I say it every episode. Still true. I'm Tom C.
I'm D Marks. We're back from break. You know it.
You
for
know
sure.
it. No one's just listening in now. Why did I reintroduce us? Because it's that important you remember who we are. We're great.
Remember who you are, listeners.
You're a fan of us.
Good job.
So we're back to this list, folks.
You bet your bottom bippy baller.
We got so much to talk about, folks.
Oh,
We're only at number 3 of 5.
we took a meaty number 4 and number 5 break for sure.
Big, heavy doses of content.
It's true. And now we're getting into possibly the same amount of content.
Hopefully you folks have had maybe a day, maybe 2 days to kind of get all that stuff out of your system.
That's why we had to reintroduce ourselves, because you might have forgotten in the last week since you started listening.
And we're about to hit it even harder on this break, folks. I'm about to tell you my number 3.
Wow, Tom C. Here's what I'd like you to do before you do that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tell me what your number 3 game of the year is.
Whoa! I will. So, folks, number 3 I just started playing recently.
Ooh.
However, you might say I played it 10 years ago.
Whoa,
folks,
you
that's
really
right.
did BS this one.
But it's true, though. I've enjoyed this game greatly. Again, I'm enjoying it even as much as I did the first time. That's how good this remaster is, folks. I'm talking about Final Fantasy X Remastered. Whoa, folks. Here's the deal.
Never been done before. Guys, never have we done a game that we've already played on a best of list. Tom C's breaking all forms of etiquette just all over the place.
We did never do that before? I guess not. I think we did do a remaster before.
I don't think we've ever done a remaster before, no.
Well, here's the deal. This remaster's so good, it's almost like a new game. That's not true.
That sounds like a cop-out answer. Anyway, no, I'm really not judging you for this, because I remember, I feel like the ultimate break of etiquette for this was 2 years ago, where I named a game I didn't even had played at that point as a number 1
Really?
of the year. I had played 5 minutes of Valiant Hearts. I had bought it right before we did the show, just so I could say I could play it, but I watched a Let's Play of it that I really liked.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, so I'm certainly not going to judge you.
I think the biggest comment was when you had 2 number 1s the 1 year.
That
Was also BS. This one's almost completely legitimate then, based off what we're studying here.
Yeah, I feel like if there's one thing the Suns are known for, it's not even following our own rules.
It's true, folks. Now, here's the deal about Final Fantasy X Remastered.
Okay, tell me all about it, stud.
Well, let me tell you about Final Fantasy X first.
All right, great.
Final Fantasy X is a great game. It's always been...
Would you say it's your favorite Final Fantasy?
No, I would not.
Would you say it's your second favorite Final Fantasy?
Probably not.
Would you say it's your third Final Fantasy?
Probably. I would say my first favorite is Final Fantasy Tactics, and then I might give it to 7.
Really, 7? I thought you would have said 6 there. Or
I might,
3, whichever one.
It's either 6 or 7, but maybe I like 10 more than that. Either way, Final Fantasy X is a great game, cool characters, cool setting, great like level up system that's interesting and fun.
Here's
and
what I'm going to say,
addicting.
and I don't think you're going to like it. Here's why I think 10 might secretly be your favorite. This is the game I hear you talk about the most.
It's the game I replay the most, for
Yeah.
sure. It's the most. It's not the most. It's one of the most accessible. I'm tempted to replay 7 because it's the same kind of like accessibility, but like feels like going home to an old friend.
Yeah, I get that.
Tactics, you must prepare. You have to quit your job. You have to, because each level takes like 400 hours, and there's like a million levels, and it's so long, and you got to grind and grind and grind, and like grind in like actual like pay attention ways, which is not fun. But it's just the best story, and it's the best one, and it's super fun, and they have calculators. Anyway, so 10 is cool. It's got a bunch of cool stuff. You got a big giant monster. It's flying around, made of water or something, or dreams or whatever.
He's a laser whale.
Yeah, basically a laser whale.
He's got whale-like qualities.
It has a very, I want to say, real world, a very interesting, very nuanced world, similar to how 7 was.
Yeah.
Similar to how good Final Fantasies are. Like, there are many good Final Fantasy games, and it's all based on having a cool world that you're interested in.
I think that's the same way that I think people, the same reason why I think people like Star Wars more than they like Star Trek a lot of times is because it's much more, it'd be much more exciting to live in Star Wars world. And I think that's what a good Final Fantasy game does.
True.
Because I think the Final Fantasy 7, that's a cool world. I think people would want to live there.
Yeah, it is a cool world.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, sometimes, guys, in this mobile game world, you have to have a game you sit down and you get into. We've all been guilty nowadays
Of Gears. What?
of playing these games that you're in and out of in 10 minutes. Like your multiplayer online shooting games.
Your one pump chump.
Your one-pump chump games that you're just in and out of. You got your Vidya for the day. You're done.
Some of us play our multiplayer online games for more than 10 minutes at a time, but we'll get into that.
I'm just
later.
saying it's an like that's how
Nyuk.
people just want the quick fix.
Yeah.
They want everything
No, they
right
want that
away.
instant grado.
And here's the deal, folks. I had this a few years ago when I played Metal Gear Solid 4 again. The feeling of like working towards an ending and earning a game where you get to feel all that good stuff.
When people put in the time
Yeah.
to give you that payoff that you know is coming,
A crafted
and you
game.
know is when you know that the payoff is coming and that they've worked really hard to make you work really hard to get to it, and that both the creators and the players are satisfied with the end product, I think that's something truly enjoyable.
Now, Dark Souls, crafted game, you're having fun the whole time, right? But like you're more active, right?
Yeah.
This game, full world, but you're experiencing it more. I mean, the battle, no one's going to tell you that turn-based is the perfect way to play a video game.
Here's my big barrier of entry, why I don't think that I remember that game as fondly as you do. And this is not a minor nitpick, but it's not a huge thing. I feel like the opening to get to like actually like playing the game takes a long time.
Very long time, folks.
Yeah.
No jokes.
Because it takes a while in 7, but they let you loose pretty early on.
They really don't let you loose for a while.
Yeah.
The same problem that 13 has, among all of the other problems. Same problem that 10.2 has, among the other problems. Well, 10.2 is a little bit different.
10.2 doesn't have any problems because it's all hot ladies.
That's true.
So it's a perfect game.
But
10 out of 10.
but what's this?
10.2 out of 10.
The remaster comes with 10.2?
Ooh.
Whoa, that's nice. But what makes this remaster even? What's so great about it, folks?
I'm assuming some hot updated graphos.
Here's what I'm talking about, folks. I'm talking about 4K out the box, 60 frames per second, no questions asked. The game's ready to do it. It's optimized for it. Hey, it's a 10-year-old game. Yeah, it's still kind of hard to do.
Do the graphics hold up well?
They do, because you're using 4K resolutions. Everything looks great. Like, for real, you look at Lulu, she looks like she's like right there.
You're masturbating to that right now.
I could do it. But it honestly looks updated. It doesn't look that old.
Yeah.
You're not seeing, it's not like Final Fantasy 7's like polygons. It looks like, because 7 or 10 wasn't that bad at graphics. Really.
No, it really wasn't.
So like the updated texture like resolution helps a lot. It helps a whole lot. I mean, they still get some jank stuff, and there's still like some polygons there, but honestly, you're not feeling like you're really taking a time machine, which I think is great. And the fact that it's optimized so well and so easy to get into, It's great because here's one of the burdens of PC gaming, folks, and I think everyone would agree. You're starting your PC game, you know you got a supercomputer, the game runs bad. And you're like, what the... I just want to play a game. Now you got to think about all your frames, why you're not getting max frames, why you're not getting all the resolution. You're like, this is stupid.
I can tell you a game already where that happened to me is Just Cause 3. It's why that's not on the list at all.
Yeah.
Because Just Cause 3 is so poorly optimized that even after I got my GTX 1070, like half a step below top of the line in graphics cards at the moment, it still could not play that game above medium.
No, there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
Because that's on your mind all the time. You're like, this is...
I put out the money where now I'm not getting it.
Yeah, it does affect it, folks. Like, you go play Skyrim right now, your first 3 hours are getting it right. Like, getting everything to be good where you're comfortable playing it.
Yeah.
The mods are all right, everything like that. So sometimes it's nice to have a game you can just jump right into. You don't have to worry about this crap.
Sometimes you just want perfect out of the box, and I get that.
I want it every time, all right?
Yeah,
but this game actually does it, which is nice. So that's a part of it that I like a lot, that I'm not worrying, I'm just having a great time. Part 2, you got a couple of added things. They did this with 7. They're doing it with 10 here, and it's a really nice little suite of things they give you should you choose to have it. Now, folks, I've beaten 10 on the PS2 multiple times. I've done it the legit way every single time. Now we have the option of not being legit anymore because it comes with...
We've earned it. Now it's time to retire.
Basically, because here's my goal, folks. My goal is to get to Yojimbo and have a ton of fun. That's my benchmark. That's where I want to be. Now, don't get me wrong. Earning it is 99% of the battle. However, there's a couple of extremely useful things that you can just use. What they just give you.
Number one,
and probably most important, the one I've been abusing, is a turbo speed. They have 2 times, 4 times turbo speed.
I don't even think that's abuse, though.
It's not abuse. I just don't feel like watching Titus skip this whole way. All right? He's skipping around. He's doing...
Because that's the big... Whenever I emulate a Pokemon game,
sure,
I always do that. I'm always turning on turbo mode.
Yeah, it's the best.
Traveling is... Nobody is excited about traveling in a game.
100% of all games should have a turbo mode.
Yeah.
Straight up, folks. It's the best. Because there's stuff that you don't care about. Let's move through it. Like, here's the deal. I know my characters can beat this guy. He knows he's going to get beaten. Let's just speed up the battle and let's just do it. Because instead of going, bam, ouch, bam, ouch, just go bam, ouch, bam, ouch, bam, ouch. Let's be done with it.
Yeah.
Right? You might be saying, well, aren't you not enjoying the battle system? I'm still enjoying it. I just want this fight to be over. All right? Part 2. I haven't used anything else besides...
They had... back in 2004... Is that when this game? I feel like that's
2001.
Back in 2001, they just had time to burn back then.
They really did, folks.
They knew you weren't doing anything else.
And that's one of the reasons I like Final Fantasy X, by the way. It is a true turn-based game, which there isn't a lot of these days. You don't have a lot of like the true old-fashioned turn-based RPGs. Everyone's moved away from that. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe.
Yeah, that's pretty safe. I mean, you still got like Final Fantasy 13. I do want to try out Final Fantasy 15, folks. Maybe you'll see that on another best of list at some point. Tell me how it is, folks.
Here's a big turn off for me about Final Fantasy 15's character design.
No chicks.
Except for that one lady.
Who's real hot.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. No, I think it could be good. I just need to... I'm in the mood, too. Anyway, folks, here's your other things they give you with the game. I haven't used any of them besides turbo mode. You have another thing that just makes your character super powered for the duration of a battle. Let's say you got to a boss you can't beat, and you're just like, whatever, I just want to get through it. I haven't used that yet, but I could see it coming up in some of the absurdly hard fights where I know that I can beat the one Seymour version that's ridiculously hard. Let me just get through it. Or I know I can beat that stupid Kamari fight I don't want to deal with. Let's just get through it. Well, you know what I mean? So that's a nice little thing to have. They have a bunch of added things like they'll just give you 99 of every common item. Or they'll give you 99 of every... not weapon. They give you infinite money. They give you all this other stuff. There's a whole bunch of nice things like that. I think they give you all the sphere grids too. That one I feel like is definitely abuse. I would not use that, but it's cool. Another thing that you kind of get right off the bat is you have your sphere grid. Super important thing in Final Fantasy X. Really affects how the game goes. There's something called expert sphere mode, which is for me because I'm an expert. And basically everyone starts in the middle and you kind of go from your own direction. You can kind of make every character how you want to. It's sweet, folks. It's a really cool idea and changes how the game's played a lot. because you can really build the characters how you want to. It's almost like a creator your own character there. Although some of them still have features that other ones don't have. Everyone's limit breaks are the same thing. You know what I mean? But it's just neat that exists. Now, here's what I'm not sure of yet. I'm not sure if this is the same as the PAL version, which has a bunch of extra stuff on it. I'm assuming they probably have all the the international version. I'm guessing they probably do. Because remember there was like dark summons and like that secret boss. I'm hoping it is because I've never played that yet, and it would be a real treat. My guess is it's probably included. If not, that'd be stupid. But I've been playing it. I'm to the point where I am right about to get Shiva, so I'm not done with it, obviously. I still got a lot of time in it. But I've been playing for like 17 to 20 hours, so I'm invested. It's not like I just fell off the horse and I'm like, I need something from my list. But I can tell that I'm like gonna finish it. I'm really greatly enjoying it. And unfortunately, more than a lot of things this year.
Yeah, this wasn't...
Not a great year for games.
It wasn't... what year? Was it 20... Was it... No, I think it was 2014 was a terrible year for gaming.
Why do you say that?
I think that was the one we just mutually decided was bad.
Yeah.
Like I think both of our top 10 lists were like old games that we just started playing that year because all the new games that came out were just not as good.
Well, I think we all agreed this was kind of bad too. But there's some great games on our list. Some good games came out. But last year, I mean, you had a bunch of real heavy hitters.
Yeah.
But that's my number 3. I'm gonna play it probably after this.
Oh yeah, because last year, I know it's been a long time since we've been on the podcast. Last year, Hotline Miami beat Fallout 4 and Phantom Plane.
Oh yeah,
that's how much we liked Hotline Miami.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's just the first one was perfect. Anyway, guys, go back and listen to that while you still can.
Yep, while you still can, folks.
Guys,
what's your number 3?
Whoa, I didn't think you were going to ask me that at all.
What?
Guys, you know a little thing about good old boy D-Marks is that I love games of the video kind. No, but seriously, like I said, a lot of games coming out this year that I was very, very interested in. One of them was Deus Ex, which we talked about. One of them was Mafia 3, which we talked about. One of them was number 3, Civilization 6.
Whoa! I thought this in my perfect world would be higher.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be a better game for you.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal about Civilization 6. I think this is your quantum of solace of your to your Casino Royale. I think that God, I got all of those franchises just confused right now. I think so. I love Civilization 5. That's like my guilty pleasure game. I play it all the time. I definitely have more hours in it than any other game for show. I love that game. I think that Civilization 6 might be a weaker entry to this series, but I think it's going to age well. I think people are going to come back to it and say that they like it. But I don't think it made quite the splash that 5 did, and that's for a couple reasons.
I want to ask you this question before we start.
Go on.
Are you going to come back to 6 or are you going to come back to 5?
I'll probably come back to 6 just because I'm so 5'd out. Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of exploring I want to do for 6, and I know that there's more content coming that I'm hoping they're going to expand. Because the reason why 5 is almost entirely... The reason why 5 is so good is because of Brave New World.
Okay.
That's almost the entire reason why I love that game so much.
I think that's fair.
Because Brave New World added so much shit and fixed all the other problems that it made it such an awesome game.
Yeah.
I think that once they polish it up a little bit and put a little spit and a little elbow grease on it, I think you're going to have a game that's going to be very good. Mm-hmm. So, what do I like about Civ 6?
Tell me.
What did they improve? Number 1, I like the idea of districts, which basically means that you can actually build your city out into multiple tiles as opposed to just taking over one tile and filling it with every building. That discourages having every city filled with every building. It kind of encourages the idea of specializing your buildings a little bit more. Also, terrain is much more important then, because certain terrain give adjacency bonuses to certain buildings. Like, the more mines you have surrounding your industrial zone, the better your industrial zone is going to be. The more like mountains and deserts you have surrounding your holy sites, the more productive your holy sites are going to be. So that's like an interesting little wrinkle that I dig. Number 2, I like the new system of great persons. Because great persons now, rather than the ability to, great engineers either built the manufactory or they could speed up a building. And 9 times out of 10, you're using it to speed up a wonder.
Yeah, of course.
Basically, everybody had a one-time use thing or a turn into a building tile improvement thing. That's what every great unit did, except for great admirals, but nobody cared about those.
Yeah.
In this game, every single great person does something different except for great prophets. Great prophets always found religions, and you only get 1 per game because all they do is found religions. But every other unique person and great artists still build their great works and stuff like that. But everyone else does something different. You could have a great engineer that whatever city you expend him in, he automatically builds ancient or medieval and Renaissance walls, and those are free. And you might have multiple uses of them, which is cool. So he builds walls in one city, goes to another city, builds another walls there. So these cities are now going to be safe. A great scientist that I really like, one of my favorites, is she has the ability where you put her on you actually send her to your holy site, and you expend her there, and in that holy site, the adjacency bonus that it would give you to faith also goes towards science. So if you built it right and have a huge adjacency bonus, it's not only adding to your faith, it's adding to your science. So it's
That's
a double
pretty smart.
whammy.
I like that.
So there's a lot of cool things where you might say, I don't necessarily need this great person. It's not like a race in the other game where you're like, I always want to get more great engineers. Yeah. I always want to get more great scientists because all of them are always going to be useful. Sometimes they're not going to be useful, and I think that's good. Because you're like, I don't need this great engineer right now. I don't have access to the resource that he helps with. So that's not really useful to me. So somebody else could have it. I'm near a bunch of mountains, though, and Galileo adds 250 points of science when you expend him for every adjacent mountain. And I know that there's 4 mountains right here, so he's going to give me 1,000 science, which is a huge boost.
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab that, want to go for that.
It's all about making combos, it sounds like.
Yeah, so you can kind of focus stuff down, and the leaders are very cool. I feel like all the leaders are nicely balanced as well. I think that's another really strong thing. Civ 5, some leaders just weren't as good. Number 1, any Civ that had 2 unique units was not good, because your unique units could become obsolete, whereas unique buildings and tile improvements never did. Unique units that required special resources were not good, because there was no guarantee that you would have them. In this game, everybody has a unique unit, and sometimes some of them have 2, and everybody has a unique building or tile improvement or district or something like that. But they have something that's never going to obsolete. Also, now unique units don't require resources, so that if you're Japan, in the old game you're like, shit, I don't have any steel, I don't have any iron, I can't build samurai. In this game you're like, oh shit, I don't need steel, it's samurai time. Everyone's gonna get their faces cut off. Yeah. So I like those frustration changes. Just kind of take away some frustration. Bad things compared to 5, not as pretty to look at. Just a overall downgrade in visuals. The UI is not as good. The civilization or the leader backdrops aren't as good. The leaders are a little more cartoony, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
For the most of them are okay, but some of them stand out as just being like, this is not a real person. And you were not trying to make this a real person. So, in that aspect, it's like a downgrade. I'm trying to think of anything else that I think. Some slight changes that are neither good nor bad. They changed the way how workers work. They now always build improvements or clear tiles or whatever in one turn, but you only have a certain number of uses as them.
I think it's smart.
Yeah, I think that's good because of reasons. I think it's just easier because they were really going for an expedient game here, which I think is nice.
I think it's fair.
Yeah. So, is this as good as Civ 5? I think time will tell. I don't think so, but I think it's going to be a better game than it realizes now. I think it just kind of needs to breathe and kind of find its own footing through maybe expansions and stuff. And maybe that's not always fair because you should get a good game right off the bat. But I like Civilization enough, I'm willing to give it a chance.
Nice.
And that's my book report on Civilization 6.
I'd like an A, please.
My name's D Marks, and I'd like an egg.
Well, is it time for me to go?
I would believe so.
Well, I got some bad news because you're going to be talking a lot more, folks. My number 2 of 2016 is Overwatch.
Whoa.
I have a feeling it's on your list.
What's that? We're not going to be talking about that right this very second.
Well, trust me, folks, we're going to be talking about it a lot.
That's surprising.
Number 2, I'll just briefly mention, it's number 2 because I immediately like everything about it.
I'm surprised it's actually on your list because I know you didn't play it a whole lot.
I played it a good amount. I would say that I got my money's worth of it. I played it before you played it, and I played a little bit then, and I just love the characters. I love all the settings. I think it's a great game. I think it's a really great game.
Yeah.
I just don't play a lot of multiplayer games, but we'll talk more about this.
Well, that's interesting. I'm surprised that's on here because I'm curious now if this is on your list. My number 2, guys, and I'm not sure.
That makes me feel like I forgot something.
I'm curious if this is going to be on there or not. I think it might not be. My number 2, guys, is a little indie game. You might have heard of it. I don't know, maybe. A little indie game called Grand Theft Auto 5.
Whoa, folks. That's not on my list.
Whoa, that's surprising.
Great game.
I thought for sure that was going to be on there. I thought that was going to be the game that we had in common.
Let me see if I would kick it. No, I wouldn't kick anything off for it.
Really? Okay. All right.
I know that's shocking, but we can actually discuss this one because we actually both played it. Grand Theft Auto 5 is great.
Yeah. So
it's truly, truly great.
I'm surprised. I thought this might have beaten out Dark Souls 3 for you.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's a great game. Listen, Grand Theft Auto is super fun, but like Dark Souls 3, I didn't have the motivation to finish it.
I was going to make that point. That's exactly what happened to me. I bought this game. I think I bought this game last year, either during some Steam sale. I bought it when it was on sale, and I was like, I'm probably going to play Grand Theft Auto at some point. Grand Theft Auto 5 at some point. I'll buy it, sure. I bought it. I started a little bit, and I was like, okay, I get what you're going for here, but like, it's not Red Dead Redemptioning me right now.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not excited for this. Like, I don't know. This isn't for me. I put it on hold, and then I don't know what I was watching. It's some YouTube thing, but they were talking about how, like, it's a heist game, and I'm like, back up, hold on. Somebody say heists?
They're unbelievably fun.
You kids talking about heists? Because, guys, a little secret about me, I love heists. Heist game? Sure. I love Payday 2. That game's great. I wish I played that more. I love heist movies, like Ocean's 11, shit like that. I love heists. So then they mentioned that there are heists in this game. I was like, all right, I'll go back and give it a try.
Sure, I'll try it.
And giving it a second chance, giving it a second look, I really enjoyed it. There's a ton of shit to do.
Tons
of shit to do in that game.
Yeah. I will tell you that the driving, I prefer the driving in 4.
Really?
And there are mods to make it more like 4. A lot of people complained about 4. 4 was a beautiful driving experience for me.
I just want all of the driving in that game to be Franklin superpower driving, because that's the best driving.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, it's so good.
Every
I have
character
so much
has
traction for some reason.
Every character has their own special ability.
Which is weird, but I guess is okay.
And he plays 3 different characters, which is also a departure.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
The way they do it is effective and smart and fun.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. I mean, you're not getting a bad game from Rockstar. Let's face it.
Yeah, I wasn't, because all the PCs grew on me, because I wasn't a huge fan of Franklin, because I just thought he was like some gangbanger who I didn't really care about.
Yeah. Also, you hate black people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in Story Spaces. Trump Pants Story 16. He wasn't like speaking to me as much as maybe he should have right off the bat, but as like he's in the middle of this conflict between the 2 other PCs, Michael and Trevor, and he's kind of like, he's learning from Michael about like the doing crimes and stuff like that, and like becoming friends with Trevor, and like going on adventures with these people, and like kind of being in the middle of their quarrel, which I'm not going to get into. It's a whole big thing. Then I kind of like how that triumvirate works. about how they kind of balance each other out. And
bizarrely, he is your entry into this world.
Yeah.
He's a straight man.
He's kind of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
He really is kind of the player avatar, which I think is cool.
Even though he's talented by himself and has an interesting kind of world around him.
Yeah.
The bigger story is happening with Michael and Trevor.
Yeah. He wants a bigger piece of the action. He wants to be like a real gangster.
Yeah.
And so he through chance runs into Michael, who's this retired criminal. And he's got to get back into the game, wouldn't you guess it?
Yeah.
And so they get the old band back together, and then he runs into Trevor, who was part of his old crew, and they left on bad terms, which you'll find out later. So it's really cool how that all plays out. The heists are pretty cool because they're pretty tense. Because
heists are the best part of the game.
Yeah, I wish there were more of them. I really do.
Yeah.
Because aren't enough. Basically.
But the thing is, even though you have, let's say, a sandwich with the heist of the meat, you got a bunch of great cheese in there too, and a bunch of great bread.
Yeah,
every part of it's great.
Crisp lettuce.
Yeah, I mean, because
fresh mayonnaise.
there's like nothing bad about the game at all.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can think of aside from I wish the driving physics were like for. That's not even a complaint. It's just that's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, I enjoyed pretty much everything that I played about it.
It made me like a Lady Gaga song.
Yeah, there you go.
Which I do like a lot.
That's a good song.
It's
really good
soundtrack
song.
Is great.
Yeah.
The setting is great and interesting and fun. You want to drive around town. You want to take your downtime and kind of just see what's up.
Yeah, like the side quests are fun enough that you're specifically on the lookout for them and like trying to do stuff.
Yeah, it's a very fun to be in world. The story's not too down. It's kind of more fun. It's unlike 4 in that regard.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of more like, it's almost Saints Row-y in some aspects.
Yeah, kind of.
Because of how it's very lighthearted for
weirdly, I don't find myself committing a lot of crimes outside of missions.
Unless you consider vehicular homicide.
Well, yeah. I do commit a lot of those.
Which might be a crime.
Oh,
boy.
Sorry, Los Santos. But
it's fun.
I should get my brakes checked.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's a great game. Much to the surprise of no one, it's very popular. You'd be no one's surprised.
And it is a game I did play this year.
Yeah, like I said, I'm surprised it's not on your list.
I can't put it higher than a Souls game. Can't do it. And I can't put it higher than Final Fantasy because I simply think I'm going to beat Final Fantasy, and I'm probably not going to beat Grand Theft Auto.
That's fair.
But that being said, it's because there's so much to do in Grand Theft Auto.
It's a dense game. You definitely you're getting your money's worth.
Oh yeah, and I think I bought it for $20.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's light.
Guys, I got some bad news.
What?
We're taking one more break.
Whoa, we're gonna hit our number 2s next time.
Except our number 1s.
Oh yeah, right. Folks,
oops,
it's gonna be big.
Learning how to count. Guys, we'll catch you in a little bit.
See ya. Guys, welcome back.
Oh,
what a treat, folks.
You caught me by surprise.
It's time for the most important part of the show, folks. This has been our longest episode ever, probably. And for good reason, folks, because we're delivering
our
so
BioShock
much.
spoiler cast might have been longer.
Might have been longer.
But that doesn't count.
Neither here nor there, folks.
You do stunts. Anyway, go on.
It's 2016.
Oops.
It's time to determine what's the best game of all time in 2016.
Yep.
According to just me.
GOAT 2016. I'm very curious because I had no idea. You're always the wild card. I feel like I'm
Always
pretty
the wild
predictable
card. Yep.
when it comes to my games. But you're always the wild card. You keep your video games close to your chest.
Absolutely.
I have no idea what your number 1's going to be. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I think I do know what it is.
Now, folks, we've explained this before. It's not games that came out this year.
Nope, sure
We didn't explain it before on this episode. It's games we played this year.
It sure is.
Like I mentioned, folks.
Yeah, I forgot you played this game. But
This
I know what it is.
year was the year I got a PS4. Now, strong-eared listeners may remember I bought a PS4 for one effing reason. That reason was Bloodborne. Why do I mention that? Because it's number 1.
Yep. Yeah, I just under the wire figured out what it was.
Yep. I got my PS4. This was the first and only game I got. Not really. I bought 2 other games. Barely count. But this game, it made me fall in love with my PS4. Because here's the deal. You get a new console, sometimes you're wary, all right? Like with the Wii U. I got Bayonetta 2 for it, honorable mention. But I never got to really love it because I didn't invest the time. But I come home from work, put on the PS4, and get right in the zone. PS4 is a great console, and I love it. And honestly, if this is the only game I play Bloodborne's the only game I bought it for to only play on it, worthwhile investment, folks. Bloodborne is possibly one of the best Souls game. It's not better than Dark Souls 1, let's face it. Let's not be crazy. But it's on par with Dark Souls 1. Are they tied? Maybe. I would maybe put those tied. It was made by Miyazaki, all right? Miyazaki's the guy who did Demon Souls. He did Dark Souls. He's your guy.
He did all the good ones.
He did all the good ones. And this one, story-wise, excellent. Unbelievably great. I find myself reading about the lore often, which I used to do about one. I find myself watching lore videos often because it is an interesting story, a complex story, and one that is once again perfectly and interestingly crafted throughout the gameplay and throughout all the stuff you're doing. There's none of these nonsense, like stupid bosses that are just tossed in, like 3, all right? You have way less bosses, but all of them are important. Now, some of you might say that not all of them are important. Like, what's the point of the blood-starved beast? Yeah, fine, whatever. But they are at least interesting and unique. Because, like, 2 and 3, Dark Souls 2 and 3, they fall into this trap of, here's a knight, a big knight, he's big, he hits you. It's fine. But all the things in Bloodborne are interesting. But that's neither here nor there. All right? They took a couple of chances.
Kind of talking about how in the sequel I used to talk about like the differences in Castlevanias, how like enemy placement is like super important.
Yeah.
You're saying that it's a more deliberate game.
It's crafted.
Yeah.
Which is that's what you want.
Small cask, micro brewed.
Mm-hmm. Someone thought about it.
Yeah.
So some people complain that it gets weird towards the end. That's often a problem that Souls games have. I don't even think that. I think it gets better towards the end. Because here's the deal. I'm going to spoil a lot of stuff because that's what I do, folks. Bloodborne starts, you're like, oh, I don't want to play Bloodborne. I don't care about werewolves or vampires or whatever. Who cares? Here's the story.
Oh, lovely.
I'm going to give you a brief overview of this game, folks, in case you haven't played it. I'm going to give you spoilers for sure. So, there's this school, right? This school or something digs into the bottom of the earth.
As schools do.
Whatever.
All the time.
Sorry, there's someone who digs into the bottom of the earth. They discover, like, elder gods, right? Who are under the ground, living there or dead there, whatever. But they have this sweet old blood, right? So this school is like, hey, what do we do with this blood? And people are like, I don't know what we should do with this blood.
What should we do with this blood?
Because, like, they're like, this is probably important. So this one guy decides, hey, this blood heals people when we give it to him. So obviously we want to help people, so let's give them this blood. Sounds great.
That doesn't sound like that could backfire at all.
So it backfires.
What?
Because people start turning into monsters.
Hang on. How does that... I'm surprised.
People get... I mean, for the most part, everyone's great and it goes great. But, like, some people start getting something called the Ashen Blood, and some people turn into monsters, and it gets worse and worse. Whatever. That's not so great. Another guy at this school, he's like, I'm not so into this, but I want to know more about these elder gods. That seems interesting to me. So he discovers some crap. He discovers that there are crazy aliens, apparently. Some people say the aliens and the elder gods might be the same thing. Whatever.
That's a connection I would probably make.
Yeah, because... like, maybe that's how they're connecting. Like, these aliens are coming to talk to these elder gods. And the humans are just kind of in the middle. But, like, basically, that guy decides, hey, I'm going to figure out what's up with these aliens. So this whole world is already interesting right off the bat. But what do you have to do with it? Nothing, folks. You're a hunter, right? Your job...
Tom, what's a hunter?
Hunter's a guy...
Whoa.
...who just killed... He's a man of the church whose job is to take care of these Ashen Blood losers.
Or a woman of the church.
Or a woman of the church. He's just taking care of these Ashen Blood losers. He's killing everybody. It's great. He's beating up the bosses, running around. But you discover the whole world, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. They do the normal Souls thing of you respawn at these whatever points because of something called the Hunter's Dream, which is this kind of crazy, like, Twilight Zone you get stuck in during the night of the hunt. You're always coming back. You're always reliving the night of the hunt until you break the spell. Don't ask me about that part, all right? I don't know it. But anyway, so you're going through, everything's fine. You're killing all these people until you get to a point where you fight this guy named Rom, the Vasius Spider or something.
Hey, I'm Rom the Vasius Spider. How you doing?
Yeah. So basically, he's like supposed to be this like weird, like almost like retarded. That's what it's actually called in Japanese. It's the retarded spider or something. But like it's supposed to be like this like half-birth weird thing. You're like, I don't like where this is going. So you kill it, and you see this weird thing. It's like this woman who's like crying. She's covered in blood. And then the moon turns red, and everything goes bad. This is where the game turns real. This is like Berserk.
I was about to say this is the what is it? Band of the Hawk.
It's the thing in Berserk where everything goes bad.
What's that called?
I don't remember what it's called. It's the Dark Black Hand or whatever. So you're out of...
I thought it was a certain event.
It is. I forget what it's called.
Okay, all right, sorry.
You're out of the golden age of Berserk.
Yeah.
You're into the bad part of Berserk, folks. Because all of a sudden, there are space aliens all over the city. It's called the Nightmare of Mensis. Because there's a lot of illusions.
Because all the ladies are having their periods.
Actually, there is some of that. So it is kind of an allusion to, like, menstruation, period blood. Because the actual lady you see is covered in blood, it's like her stomach is covered in blood. So, like, the whole thing is, like, there's this weird alien fetus that was birthed out of this person. It's all terrible. But you get to start going for these crazy things like aliens and stuff. So this is, like, real Poe stuff. I'm talking Elder Gods, and I meant the other guy, not Poe. Who's the guy? Cthulhu guy.
Lovecraft.
Lovecraft. Yeah, that's the one. So, like, there's this super, like, incredible world. It's so interesting. You have something called insight, which is another gauge you have. So this insight stuff, it's kind of like humanity from the other games. Except insight is basically literally eyeballs on the inside of your brain. And you're like, what is the point of that?
That doesn't sound pleasant.
No. But the other guy, you remember how there was two guys at the school? The other guy said, maybe to talk to these aliens, we need eyeballs on the inside of our heads. And you're like, how does that make any sense? But it's cool. So you get insight. And if you have insight early in the game, you can already see some of the stuff you see later in the game, which is awesome. But, like, you start to see, like, stuff everywhere. Like, the game changes a little bit. Like, certain things exist where they didn't before. Certain sounds exist where they didn't before. Like, this is something that you wouldn't experience unless you know it. It's around 40 insight. But anyway, that's awesome. So as you keep going through, you realize there's these different aspects of the church. One was, like, this group who just wanted to talk to the gods. One is this people who were like, if we have dreams, we can talk to the gods. You go through all these different layers, and there's all these cool different enemies, and they all are like a unique different part to do the same thing. The world is super interesting. It's exciting. It's memorable. I don't remember anything about Dark Souls 3, all right? I barely remember anything about Dark Souls 2. But I love Bloodborne. It's super cool. Everything about it is interesting, and I didn't even talk about the fighting yet. Here's the deal. There are less weapons. I know. That I don't like, all right? Dark Souls 1, billion weapons. Dark Souls 2, too many weapons. And cool weapons. Dark Souls 3, I don't know because they messed up scaling in Dark Souls 3, so I don't care. I can't make a strength build anymore. Who cares? I don't want to do it. Bloodborne, there's like 16 weapons maybe. You do get a sweet giant wheel that you just bash people with. It rules.
That's a slight nod to the other games where you did skeleton wheel too.
Yeah. And it's awesome, all right? But, like, it's sweet. You get guns, which basically change the whole game because before you would just run around shielding and parrying and stuff. In this game...
Some people also use magic.
No, I don't know about that. So, anyway, with the guns...
I don't know about no magic.
The guns, it's way more risky because instead of parrying, you have to shoot people first and kind of stun them and then get into it. It's interesting. It kind of changes your game, makes it more of a fast-paced game. It's smart is what it is. All right? It's smart. It's well thought out. Everything's fun about it. There's also a sweet vampire lady. There's these people who, like, hate these vampires. Because you might be saying, how is there not vampires in this game about blood? There is. There's vampires. I forget what they call them. They're bad. And then everyone's out to kill them, but they don't. And then you can kill the vampire, and then she comes back because she's a vampire. And it's cool. You can also be part of, like, the guild that's like a vampire guild. And then you become a vampire and kill the people trying to kill vampires. It's great. They thought about everything, folks. But there's so much there. There's too much that it's so great. There's also a DLC I haven't played yet. Now, here's the thing about that.
Okay.
It's supposed to be one of the best Souls DLC of all time. So my thought process is, I love Bloodborne so much, I don't want to even play it, so I know it's always there. Now, you may recall that happened before, as I've never played the DLC for Dark Souls 1. Even though everyone says it's great, never done it. Because I always want there to be more I can get later, folks. There's a lot going on in this game. It feels like a big, interesting world. And I love it. It's just, it's everything Dark Souls 1, everything good about Dark Souls 1, this game has. All right? Everything good it has. But more. And more interesting to my sensibilities. And it's way more than what I was expecting to get. It was completely addicting. I couldn't stop playing it. There's no question it was my game of the year. I mean, for real, dude. What, are you going to put Overwatch up there? No. Because Overwatch I eventually stopped playing.
Yeah.
Bloodborne I only stopped because they simply stopped having games.
Because simply there was no game to play.
The last boss is awesome and interesting and cool, and there's a secret ending that I got where you defeat some kind of crazy moon spirit. There's just so much like the
you know I hate those moon spirits.
Dude, okay. It's this one. This poster? It's that one right there. That's what it looks like. But
also, was it the eclipse?
It was the eclipse.
It
was totally the eclipse. Yeah. But like it's just if you like everything good about I can't say it enough. Everything good about Dark Souls 1 is here. There's a whole bunch of stuff I didn't do right. There's a whole bunch of like storylines I didn't do. If I were to replay this game, I think I would enjoy it just as much, if not more. It's challenging, it's fun, it's rewarding. Great game. Can't recommend it highly enough. Would I say buy a PS4 for it? Yes, I would.
Wow.
What's that? It's like $500? Don't care. I do not care.
Not an excuse.
This is a gaming experience. It is valuable to play it just to know how much you can do with a game. Like, you're like, I don't care about Dark Souls. Nothing good about it. But like this game, you're like, I don't want to play as a werewolf. I ain't no Twilight loser. Then you're like, oh, I suck. I'm going to jump off a cliff.
I remember that Zelda game, Twilight Loser.
The Twilight Loser.
Yeah.
I've told you should play this game, and you never will.
Yep, never will.
But you would love it. It would be one of your favorite games of all time. If you played it today, it would be on this list as your number one.
Well, guys, ask for Dark Souls, ask for Bloodborne for Christmas. If this comes out before then, which it might not. Who knows?
Who knows?
That's a glowing recommendation from Tom C. As I think you're gonna get.
You can hear that I'm very passionate.
Yeah, I think you really like that game a lot.
I think you're underplaying it. I love that game.
Tom, I think you might like that game.
They'll never make guys.
If you love it so much, maybe you should marry it.
I would marry it, guys. They won't make it for PC because they never made Demon Souls for PC. So stop that fantasy, all right? You have to get a PS4 for it. I'm just telling you right now. Don't live in this fantasy world. I know they came out with Demons or Dark Souls. It's never happening. Buy a PS4, you'll love it. It's a great system.
It's a great system.
It's a great system.
Guys,
anyway,
that only leaves us with one more thing.
What? I thought we were done.
What's that? No, we're not done. We got one more thing. Tom C started the list with his number 5. We counted it down all the way to Tom C's number 1. But
that's it. We only do mine on this show.
Nope.
Next episode will be you.
Nope.
What?
Tom C, I'm just going to tell everybody at home what my number 1 is.
Whoa, folks.
Guys, if you've been watching up with the channel, every once in a while I post some filler content because we don't record as often as we should. And
you like the game.
9 times out of 10, it's from one game. And actually, I think 10 times out of 10, it's only from one game. Because for most of this year, well, for the second half of this year, it was almost the only game I played. And that game was Overwatch.
Whoa.
Guys, my number 1 game is Overwatch for 2016.
Smart-eared listeners will know that. Will know it.
Guys, I got some news for you. I love Overwatch. That
now we
game
can talk
is
about
awesome.
it, yeah. Because that was my number 2. We can talk about it now, folks. Game is awesome. Great game. Great game, folks. Fun? Yes.
So much depth, which I think is cool.
This is your entree. This is D. Marks' entree to competitive esports.
It's true. It really is. I enjoy watching tournaments online.
Did I say entree? I meant entry.
I think entree works too because I enjoy eating them
True.
With my eyeballs.
But like esports is something you probably would have laughed at before.
I wouldn't have laughed at it, but I definitely Would I have ever sat down to watch a CSGO tournament? No.
No.
Because here's the thing.
Oh my God, no.
No.
It's laughable, folks.
The very idea is absurd. Truly absurd.
It's laughable. I'm laughing.
I don't understand how you got here.
Just get out, folks.
Get out of your own house.
CS go, more like CS leave.
More like CS go home and
Oh my
talk to your
God.
mom.
Yeah.
No. So for real, I love, like, I would have never watched CSGO, but the different dynamics and the different, like, things that people can do in Overwatch are very dynamic and very compelling. And I love games where people work as a team. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of, like, solo man death matches. Those are boring to me. Like, straight up, they're boring.
Right.
Like, if it's just like 16 people in a box, all with guns, I don't give a shit. I don't want to play that game. Because here's what's happened. You're like, all right, I'm going to fucking do it. And you're immediately going to get shot in the back.
Right.
No, this is a 6v6 man, full-on fight to the objective. Because you have different map styles. You have your classic King of the Hill, your classic payload map, assault maps, where you take multiple points on a map. It's a little different than King of the Hill. And then you have hybrid maps, which are mostly good. One of them happens to be my least favorite map in the entire game.
Just so happens to be.
But there's a bunch of different shit. Different team comps work differently. Like, you should never run into someone who only plays one character.
Yeah,
like,
well, you will in the bad
yeah,
players.
Exactly. The game demands a little bit of depth in your hero pool, because while you have people who only focus on one role, and that's kind of okay, at least they can do, like, different things, because that's what I really like, is that not all of the people within the same role either do that role the same way or even do that role as good as other people, but they'll do other things better. It's like
somebody thought about it.
Because Roadhog is a tank and Reinhardt is a tank, but they do very different things.
Very different things.
Which is really cool. And McCree is a DPS and Tracer is a DPS, but they do very different things as well.
Somebody thought about it.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing too, is that I dig that's not a rock, paper, scissors joint. Like how DPS doesn't beat tank doesn't beat support doesn't beat DPS, and like that. Yeah. It's like certain characters have hard counters and soft counters, and certain characters also, you'll be able to fluctuate. And since the only real penalty for switching characters mid-game is the loss of your ultimate charge, there's really no reason that, like, oh, our team's getting its ass kicked by this Pharah, I'm going to pop off of Reaper and go on McCree or 76 because we need hit scan to shoot her out of the sky. You're like, oh, this Roadhog hook's causing us a lot of problems. I'm going to switch off of Diva and I'm going to go over to Reinhardt so I can shut this hooking down once and for all. Like, oh, like stuff like that is really cool. And like, you're all a really good team makes the game so fun, because the amount of communication where you're like, all right, we got people coming in the back. I need some healing. Give me a nano boost because I'm about to do Death Blossom, do the nano blade move. Or like Genshi's like, I'm gonna hit him from behind. When you hear my Dragon Blade go, everyone move in because it's gonna be all chaotic. They're gonna be all thrown off. Like the amount of strategy, the amount of like layers that you can really put together, because a lot of the characters I think people would decry as being easier, but I think every character, we talked about this a little bit today about Soldier 76, every character who, even like the 1-star difficulty characters, has an almost limitless skill ceiling, where like, yes, they're very easy to pick up and play and people will understand their basics very quickly, but timing is important. Learning how to do timing is important. Learning when to launch your ults. Learning how to use your expendable abilities. When it's time to pull back from a fight. Because that's one of the most frustrating things that I find in playing in games just by myself solo queuing, is that in professional Overwatch, if you're trying to contest a point or something, or you're like defending somewhere, if you lose 3 or 4 people, you're getting the fuck out of there. You know you're not going to win the fight, and you don't want to give your enemy ult charge, so you're going to retreat. People online do not fucking do that. It drives me insane. I'm like, why are you always dying and staggering our split spawns? We always need to grow in 6v6. You're not going to win a 2v6, pal. Get out of there, Lucio.
Folks,
I'm looking at you.
This is the kind of just verbiage you would never have heard D-Mark say about any other game.
Because I don't think that there's because what are you going to get? Admittedly, I've never played CS:GO before, but what are you going to get there? You're not going to get that in a Modern Warfare game or in a Call of Duty game.
You'd have weapon uses and roles. You would have different like equipments, maybe. And you just have, it's not the same. I mean, you were a fan of Team Fortress 2 when that came out.
The closest,
that didn't stick to you.
The closest comparison that you can make to this game is definitely TF2.
Which I don't know why you'd ever go back to TF2. I don't know why anyone would.
Yeah, no, not since Overwatch was released.
It's a better game.
The reason I never played, the reason I stopped playing TF2 was because my mouse accuracy was terrible for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it's only really gotten good since I was playing Overwatch because... guys, a little bit about my Overwatch career. My hero pool is pretty deep. I can play a lot of characters reasonably well. Some are better than others. I mostly stick with tank. Recently, I've been playing a lot more on 76, but that's because my accuracy has gotten a lot better because at the end of last competitive season, I was maining Ana, and that requires a lot of accuracy and stuff like that. So my accuracy has gotten a lot better, so I can shoot down like moving targets like Pharah and stuff better at 76. So, like, you learn stuff and you pick things up. But, like I said, there's a lot of lore there, which I do enjoy. I think there's an interesting world that people may not always know about because they never say it in the game. It's all kind of picked up
There's
through.
no story mode or anything.
Yeah, there's no story mode or anything like that.
You get through context.
Yeah, you get everything through context and the characters interacting with one another. Things like that.
Folks, when I played it, I mean, I still have it. I haven't played it in a long time. But I'm a D.Va fan. I said it.
D.Va's really good right now.
D.Va, I was immediately drawn to just because she kind of reflects how I like.
She's wearing a bodysuit.
She's hot. That's a big part of it. But she reflects how I like to play, and I feel like that's.
You would probably like Winston too.
I did occasionally switch to Winston. I was not a huge enthusiast, but because he's not a hot chick. But
he's a furry monkey.
There's a class for every kind of play style you want to play as. Yeah. But if you want to be successful, you have to kind of bridge out a little bit.
If you're a bastard, you play as Mei. If you want to be useless, you play a sniper role.
Yeah.
All kinds of characters for all kinds of people.
Yeah, and the characters are, because I could speak to a little bit more of this, less than the actual good, like, hard part. The characters are super interesting. They're vibrant.
Yeah.
They draw your attention. You like them.
This game is polished to a crazy mirror sheen.
It's a Blizzard game.
Yeah.
Blizzard knows exactly what they're doing when it comes to character design, when it comes to making a game addictive, which Hearthstone will teach you about that. If you haven't played Hearthstone, folks, that game is a curse. If you start playing it, you will play it for a little while, unless you're like me, who somehow managed to do it, which was escape from it. But that game is just pure addictiveness. Overwatch has the same stuff to it. They have a loot box system, which is a great system.
They have fun events and everything.
It's a great way to keep losers like me involved, because I'm one of those guys who loves free stuff, loves getting little digital stuff in games.
I love putting little costumes on my little cartoon pals.
Mm-hmm. You know me, dude. I'm gonna work if I'm close to a loot box, I'm playing another game. Loot boxes are
I'm very much the same way.
And that's how you get people to keep playing, because you have like events where they give away a loot box. Everyone's into that. Like, it's just well designed from a keep me playing standpoint. And in all honesty, the only reason I'm not still playing it is because I got taken with other things. If there was nothing else I wanted to play, I would still be playing it. And it's not that I don't want to play it, folks. I do. There's a lot of people better than me. I don't necessarily mind that either. I was always kind of a casual match guy. But I never really was discouraged from playing it either. Like, the people playing it seem to be... Most
of the community is very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
9 times out of 10, your matches are either going to be a neutral or positive experience with your other teammates.
Yeah. Unless you're in competitive.
You've run into trolls every once in a while. You run into people who just get frustrated for no reason. You run into the worst people who are bad at a character, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it is not. If you have a soldier or a McCree who is not accurate enough to shoot down a Pharah, that Pharah is going to kill your whole team, and it's going to suck, and you're going to be like, soldier, could you switch off and let someone else do it? And they're never going to speak to you. They're just going to respawn a soldier 12 times, and you're like, this is infuriating. We are going to lose because of this single guy. Every fight's a 5v6.
D-Marks has a lot of bad memories.
Yeah.
It's clearly sticking with him, folks. But I had nothing but good memories. There's some maps I don't like, but they're all very interesting visually.
Yeah.
They're all different themed. My favorite map, I really liked Ilios. I really liked the Egyptian one.
Temple of Anubis is my favorite control map.
Great map.
Assault map.
I'm trying to think of what my favorite is. I did really like Ilios. We didn't play it enough.
Ilios is probably my favorite.
Hanamura's
King of the
great.
Hill. Ilios is my favorite King of the Hill. Whatchamacallit?
Hollywood's great.
Temple of Anubis is my favorite assault map. My favorite payload map.
Mine's Hollywood.
Oh, mine's Dorado. And no, my favorite hybrid is Hollywood. Hollywood's a hybrid map.
Oh, sorry. Well, Hollywood's obviously the best.
Yeah, I love Hollywood. Hollywood's probably my overall. Hollywood and Numbani are both very high up there for me.
I don't know who they got on level design, but they did great.
Yeah.
The levels are interesting and fun.
That's another reason why I like watching the tournaments and stuff online too, is that these pros are like so good at navigating maps. They know like little shortcuts that you'd never really figure out for yourself.
Yeah.
Especially high mobility characters like Genji or Diva or something like that. You're like, oh, I never knew I could fly over that wall and not fall off the edge of the map. Yeah.
It's just a great game. It's like you're saying, polished, fun. I never didn't have fun with it. I'm not really a multiplayer game guy.
I figured this out the other day. I think the last multiplayer FPS game that I played was probably Modern Warfare 2.
Probably.
That's how long it's been. And this game does it so well. I love it. It's so polished. And I was talking with a friend of mine over the weekend. I appreciate all of the effort the developers put into character balance, because I think they're at a really nice spot right now where characters are pretty balanced for their roles and everything like that. Like, obviously, like I said, there are hard counters to characters. Not everyone's going to be necessarily balanced to each other, but within the game, when you have a balanced comp, they're going to be balanced for that.
Yeah. I just think it's great.
Yeah, it's a really great game.
I don't know what else we can say about it, folks. I mean, it's
you go out and try making a better game. Do it.
You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it, folks.
I bet you couldn't.
Dude, I think we could probably be good at this point.
Yeah, I think the people got it.
Folks, here's my problem. Are we really going to have an episode without speed reviews?
I know, but I don't know. We didn't get a list.
Folks, I wrote down 10 games.
Oh, no!
That I played this year. And it's time for our world-famous Speed Reviews.
Tom, this is the top 10 list of games that you thought of before the show. Number 10, Bloodborne.
Bloodborne is one of the best games ever. You love it. You play as a lot. You play as a man who's got an illness and he's very sick. But he's born of blood, dies in blood. Great game, 10 out of 10. Senran Kagura.
Saran wrap Kagura. Your mom came over and she made you a bunch of Kagura, but you didn't eat all of it, so you wrapped it up in saran wrap, and it's great, and it's going to keep for the next day. Gets 10 out of 10. Number 8, Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2 was autocorrected to Bayonets 2, which sounds like a super fun game where you make a bayonet, and then you throw it at people because you don't know how the bayonets work. Sounds great, 10 out of 10. Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 3, you play as a three-legged man who walks a lot. You'll get that joke later, 7 out of 10. Number 7, Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing is about that little sign that says like a deer on it. You make little signs like, it's a tractor or some other animal, like a living tractor or one of the tractor animals. It's great. You're going to have a great time. Oh my god, the list fell away. I give it a 3 out of 10. This one, Fire Emblem Awakening.
Fire Emblem Awakening. Once upon a time, there was a man named Fire Emblem, and the Ray's there, and Han Solo gets stabbed by his son, and then there's another guy in Poe Dameron. You got to blow up another Death Star. And then everyone awakens, and then Luke Skywalker's being off the edge of a cliff. Gets a 1 out of 10. Number 4, Final Fantasy X Remaster.
Final Fantasy X Remaster is a game where you play Final Fantasy again, but this time you're playing as the master of Pac-Man, that weird guy who has that weird beard who's born in the 70s. He's trying to sue somebody. I don't know what he's doing. He sucks. Gets a 0 out of 10. Honeycam Studio.
Honeycam Studio is your high-profile photographer. But you accidentally dropped your camera in Honey, and now you can't do the studio anymore. So now you're out of a job, and you're working at McDonald's. Oops, gets 0 out of 10. Number 2, Overwatch.
This is autocorrect to Overwatch for some reason, so I'm going to pretend this is when Goofy goes into Overwatch mode in XCOM. He goes like, "Garsh," and then he checks for aliens, and he shoots at him. Best mode in that game. Game's great. XCOM 2 out of 10. Dragon Blaze.
Dragon Blaze is a particularly kind bud that I suggest to everybody at home try if you have not.
Smoking
that gets a 420 out of 10.
Guys, we did it.
Guys, 2016 done so. Catch you later.
See ya.